On the first day of Eid al-Fitr, Sheikh Hibatullah Akhundzada, the leader of the Taliban government, delivered a speech calling for patience in the face of poverty, warning against the danger of division, and emphasizing strict adherence to Islamic law while rejecting any unlawful laws. At the outset of his speech, Sheikh Hibatullah described poverty as a form of divine trial, advising people not to complain about their condition, but rather to accept Allah's decree with contentment. While this perspective is understandable on an individual level, its issuance from a ruler warrants reflection. According to Islamic law, it is the ruler's responsibility to provide for the basic needs of the people, whether individuals or the community at large. If a ruler fails or refuses to meet these needs, such as food, clothing, and shelter, it is the right, indeed the duty, of the people to hold him accountable. This accountability should not be seen as challenging Allah's will, but rather as a sign of legal awareness and intellectual maturity. On another note, a ruler's responsibility is not limited to good intentions, but also includes the nature and legitimacy of the efforts exerted. A Muslim ruler is obligated to address societal problems using legitimate Islamic means. If the measures taken, despite appearing beneficial, fall outside the bounds of Sharia, such as dealings with usurious banks, imposing unjust taxes, or becoming dependent on financial aid from the enemies of the Ummah, then such actions are illegitimate and the ruler bears full religious accountability. Elsewhere in his speech, Sheikh Hibatullah touched on the issue of disunity within the Ummah, identifying it as a cause of the injustices Muslims face today. He called for unity and an end to division. This call has two dimensions. First, it reflects his concern over internal divisions within the Taliban movement itself, especially amid Western attempts to split the group into hardliners and moderates. In Western eyes, Sheikh Hibatullah represents the hardline faction, adhering to a strict interpretation of Islamic law. Second, he pointed to the Palestinian cause, arguing that the disunity among Muslims perpetuates Palestinian suffering. However, he offered no plan or legitimate framework for achieving unity, relying instead on moral exhortation. Yet Islam provides clear rulings, a comprehensive method, and a political system to unite the Ummah. Unity cannot be achieved through advice alone. It requires the establishment of an Islamic system, khilafah, and adherence to the proper method, a responsibility that lies with those possessing power and strength by establishing the caliphate that can unify Muslims. In another part of his address, Sheikh Hibatullah reaffirmed his commitment to Sharia, stating that he would never accept any un-Islamic legal provision and would step down if ever asked to do so. While this reflects his personal piety, it is insufficient for leadership. A ruler must not merely abstain from the forbidden himself, he must confront it and prevent its occurrence in society. Resigning when faced with an un-Islamic demand, rather than resisting it, signals a weakness in political vision and a lack of principled thinking. Sheikh Hibatullah's words sound more like a preacher's advice than the action of a political leader. His focus on personal responsibility doesn't address the bigger issues the community faces. Economic problems aren't solved by speeches, and unity doesn't come from moral guidance alone. What the Muslim Ummah needs is strong leaders with a clear, practical plan based on Islam to fix the problems of poverty, division, and confusion.